Who do you want as Prime Minister, Sunak or Starmer? Do give us a call, 0207 862 2222. This very question was put to voters by Rishi himself in an interview with the Mail on Sunday. The Prime Minister warned Tory voters of a Labour landslide if they defect to right-wing parties such as Reform UK, which are growing in popularity. He said the question for people who care about tackling migration, who want to get our taxes down, who think we need to have more common sense in our discourse is, do you want Starmer or me to be your Prime Minister? So you can tell him the answer via us. How about that? 0207 862 2222. Over here, by the way, we can keep a tally. In fact, if I get my pen out, I can... Yes, here it is. I can mark you both up. Mike, you start.
Well, it's a choice between two people. I don't think either of them are going to be great prime ministers. Sunak isn't a great prime minister now, but Rishi Sunak rather than Keir Starmer. So
you would go here. Tell us why. Tell Marina why, Mike.
Well, I believe in small C Conservative policies. For the first time, Rishi Sunak is trying to practice that, by giving us some minor tax cuts now, but it's going in the right direction. It means we can shrink the state. It means we can give opportunity to people to spend more of their money. That will stimulate growth, and we can start trying to get value for money for the taxpayer, which you would never get under Labour. Marina and I have clashed before when I say Labour governments generally end up bankrupting the country.
Marina Purkiss.
So, OK, we know that Rishi Sunak and his government have lied about the budget and the tax cuts to everyone. Are you now lying them as well? Are you now perpetuating that lie? Amplifying it?
Because sorry, what lie are you alleging?
The tax burden, every single person, the tax burden is higher now than it's ever been.
Are you going, Starmer? Look, Marina, I've got to write you over here, yeah?
I mean, nothing.
You've got to choose, right?
I am no massive Starmer fan, right? But I think there is no way you can be worse than this government,
Well, you wait till they get in.
No nonsense. Right. Are you happy being lied to? Are you happy amplifying their lies? Clearly.
It's completely level here.
I wouldn't call them lies.
Your taxes, listen, people at home, your taxes are the highest they've ever been since the Second World War.
And how are Labour going to get them down?
And yet they lie. How are they going to get them down?
How are Labour going to get them down?
How are they going to get them down? They're going to close the non-dom loophole. And they're going to close tax avoidance loopholes.
2 billion. 2 billion in total.
What on earth is... Do you know what? They might also not be corrupt. They might not funnel billions of pounds to their Tory
Well, politicians shouldn't be corrupt.
Right, but my point being, all of that saves us money. Yeah. Do you think Keir Starmer is going to preside over the worst NHS waiting lists and people dying?
Well, he probably does. He probably does.
Yeah, I do. They haven't got any
He thinks it's going to get worse.
Starmer hasn't got...
Of course he does.
Everything is getting worse all the time.
I mean, Rachel Reeves, who's going to be the next Chancellor of the Exchequer, if Labour get in, I haven't seen any policies apart from the politics of envy. Let's try and close down some private schools by charging them more money.
They didn't do it yet.
And the non-dom.
For the election.
The non-dom won't save any money because the rich will just disappear.
No,
they will just disappear and they'll take wealth with them.
People always use that threat.
All right, let's pause there. I'm sensing you disagree.
But
on
it's
this.
Pathetic.
What's
13
pathetic?
years of this nonsense. Everything is worse. You're paying the highest taxes and you're still advocating.
You know why?
Well, they will say taxes are coming down. Yeah. They'll say firstly, they'll say taxes are coming down, and then they'll use Mike's argument, which is that Mike says every time you get Labour in, they crash the economy.
They do.
Oh, please.
But that's what
there was a global financial crash, and because of the Tories and their lies and their complicit client journalists, they've made you believe that Gordon Brown was to blame for the global crash.
Well, you said it.
Guys, pause there.
The economy.
Nick in Nottinghamshire. I'm going to put you on one of my columns, Nick. Where is it to be?
Good morning, mate. I'm certainly with Keir.
Right.
Certainly with Keir. I'm absolutely, frankly, sick of Sunak and his lies and his dishonesty constantly. I mean, firstly, he lied about parties. He got fined every week on Prime Minister's questions. He just runs like a child from Keir. He never answers the questions.
Right.
His 5 pledges were frankly laughable. To be honest,
inflation's come down.
Jeremy, stop it, Jeremy.
Jeremy,
can I clarify this?
Okay, Marina.
How on earth, this is again how prepared Sunak is to lie to you, that he's trying to claim glory for inflation going down, and yet when it was rising, nothing to do with the government. He's done precisely
Okay,
nothing.
Nick, thank you. Christopher, hang on.
How?
Christopher in
Because
Kent.
he halved it, because
He
the
hasn't.
inflation rate is half of
He's
what it
halved
was.
it.
He says
Like
it's
he's
not
making
him.
it rain.
It's not him. Christopher in Kent, hi.
Oh, hello there.
You've got to break in here, Christopher. Which way would you go? Starmer, Sunak?
Sunak.
Okay, Christopher. Can I call you Chris for the board or Christopher?
Yes, that's fine. Yes, that's absolutely fine.
Tell us why, because Marina wants to hear.
Yes, well, I certainly I trust him more on the economy. And she was saying about inflation. Well, inflation actually wasn't really to do with the government. It's actually largely to do with the issues in Ukraine and also
Can I tell you, Christopher, the OBR has just said
Hang on,
that
Chris, she's interrupting you.
Our inflation is going to remain persistently high
Well,
due
of course
to
it will.
domestically fueled issues. It's nothing to do with COVID anymore. It's nothing to do with Ukraine. It's to do with domestically fueled issues. And that's going to keep our inflation high, our interest rates high.
But it's about four.
I don't agree.
Of course
actually,
you don't.
but
reality.
the other thing
What
also,
Tories do.
actually,
Go on,
was,
Christopher.
I don't trust Starmer on Brexit either. I mean, I voted for Brexit, and I think it's a good thing. It's people
think it's
try
good?
and
It's going
poke
well.
it as a disaster, but I think I'm perfectly happy with it. And I think what people like Marina don't actually appreciate is they don't actually appreciate the trajectory of the EU and how it's going to expand and,
All right.
and how that would cope.
Thank you.
But the other thing-
Chris, let me just... I've just got to take one more call before the break. Next call. Come on, one more. Who have we got? Daryl in Lincolnshire. Where are you, Daryl? Starmer or Sunak?
Definitely Sunak. I think he's
Okay.
got stronger policies with regard to immigration, and I think that they will get a handle on the illegal immigrants coming into the country eventually.
No.
It's a long-
Daryl, if
it's a
Being
long
inflation,
outnumbered,
race.
Marina.
if inflation is your thing, Daryl,
And-
you're voting for the party, you're voting for the man who has presided over the highest immigration levels. But you go ahead, Daryl.
All right. Pause. Daryl, thank you. So we've got a couple for you on social media. Irene on Facebook says, neither really, but if I have to choose, it would be Starmer. Give someone else a chance. So I'll just put Irene down there. And then we've also got Lindsay on Facebook, who says, I don't really want either, but if they are the only two choices, I'll stick with what we've got, and I'll hope a better opposition leader comes along. So then we put Lindsay there. Right, we're really getting a bit of a sample size now. Brian's in Newport. Hi, Brian.
Hi,
Who would you like if you had to choose? Because Sunak wants you to choose.
Sunak.
Okay, so you think this is going to be an election between, basically, who do you want to listen to for the next 4 years, right?
Yeah, because Labour's got no ideas. All they're chucking about is non-dom. They vote down everything the Conservatives are trying to do, putting their feet in the way of everything. And what we need to do is take control. We need to get Britain sorted. And all they're doing is trying to win points against the Conservatives.
Thank you so
They've
much.
got no
Thank you, Brian.
ideas.
Melvin in Kent, hi. Which one are you?
Oh, it's got to be Starmer because we've had 13 years of austerity measures. And by the way, the guy on the panel that you said Labour would bankrupt the country.
Mike Parry,
is already
yeah.
bankrupt by the Tories.
Exactly.
Well, she can't,
but Melvin,
it can't get any worse.
Melvin, believe me, it'll get much worse under
No,
Starmer.
it won't.
We won't believe it.
It will, honestly.
No, it won't.
Well, hang on. They want to spend 28 billion a year on green policies alone. Where is that going to come from? Where is that going to come from?
Hang on, Marina, hang on, because Melvin's trying to talk as well. Yeah, but they dropped a lot of the green policies.
Oh,
right?
they haven't officially. It's still on their.
No,
it's
they
still
dropped
on
a lot of their
still on their
spending.
agenda.
Don't
It's still on their
drop
agenda.
it.
And also, Melvin, Rachel Reeves says, "I'm not going to borrow.
Hang on, Melv.
I'm not going to borrow, but I'm going to stimulate growth in the economy." Where's she going to get the money from then?
What about the £40 billion that was spent on track and trace?
Thank you. Well
Yeah.
done.
Rhino Harding
Melvin, that's
wasted.
history, man. That's history, man. You've got to move
No, it's
on.
not.
You've got to move on.
All right,
That
all
was
right, all
a
right.
situation
Hang
that
on.
nobody knew about.
Melvin,
and we have to
just
react.
the question Mike says is, if Labour want to spend more, where do they get the money from? That's the question.
The rich.
Thank
And
you,
also
Melvin.
tax
Oh,
receipts.
yeah.
you.
And then the rich will just
The rich.
disappear.
No, they don't. No, they're not.
Tax receipts. We've got, because inflation is still a problem,
Melvin.
domestically fueled issues. We've got huge tax receipts at the moment. That's why there's all this headroom to give money back to the rich.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right.
And with that, we have to pay off the debts.
Well,
The debts accrued by your precious Tories.
The debts accrued by going through a pandemic was 400 billion quid of it.
All right, this is the next election, everyone. This is what you're hearing right here in the studio. Peter in Norwich, which one would you go for, Starmer or Sunak?
Right. Well, if I had two options, my friend, I want the lovely Greek girl called Marina to have the whip hand in Parliament. She's absolutely gorgeous. But also, I'd go for Keir Starmer because he's a new champ. Keir Starmer.
OK, you want Marina to have the whip hand in Parliament because she's gorgeous.
100%.
Where are you ringing from? Is it the 70s?
Well, listen, from LBC, I can tell you it's modern age. So you want to get rid of the GBN corrupt channel and put Mike Parry into the corrupt channel called GBN News. Mrs. Marina, so she's Italian, absolutely pretty, gorgeous, very intelligent. Next Prime Minister.
All right. Let's not. We spread the compliments equally here. Peter, you now have to praise the way Mike Parry looks.
Please,
Oh, they're in charge.
What?
Excuse me, we're not into sexism on this show, OK?
No. Go on, praise Parry. He used to be large.
Yeah, fair.
What?
You know, Mr. Parry in the corner has had sex for 15 years, he said on corrupt GBN News.
How long? I don't know.
I couldn't hear that, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Peter. You blew it at the end, but for a while it was interesting. Linda in Norfolk, North Yorkshire, hi.
Hello.
Oh, what a calming voice. How's your day been so far?
All right, thank you.
Good. Are you going to put your name in one of these columns? Starmer, Sunak?
Starmer.
Starmer. Right, Linda. OK, tell us why. You agree with Marina, do you?
I do.
OK, you think they won't?
They've wrecked the country, and they shouldn't be allowed to have so many replacement prime ministers in one parliament.
5 in 6 years. It's mad, isn't it? But when you say they've wrecked the country, their argument seems to be that Sunak was in charge of it, so he's best placed to fix it. That'll make you laugh.
Well, it's rubbish, isn't it?
You asked the person who broke it to mend it.
Exactly.
Well, it's a pretty poor argument, that, Mike.
They've absolutely wrecked the country. They're privatising the NHS.
They're not actually, but they should.
Yeah, they are. They are privatising.
Mike, you've got to admit the country's in a worse state it's been in since the 70s.
I agree the country's in a very bad state and it's trying to put it together. Linda, you've let me down because I'm a northerner. I come from Chester. I thought good common sense of northern people would make it clear that if Starmer gets in, he simply will wreck the country with overspending. The deputy leader of the Labour Party, Angela Rayner, has already made it clear that the so-called working people will get favourable terms from Labour. That costs a lot of money. That means they're going to spend more.
Well, we're all working here.
You don't want working people to be what?
I don't want people to have their working week cut from 36 hours to 34 hours because it means you've got to employ more people.
How many hours do you work, Mike? How many hours do you work?
And it means
how many hours do you work, Mike?
The state gets bigger. I want small government, smaller state, and I want more productive state, not less.
We got Chris in Manchester. Chris, my friend, where are you, Sunak or Starmer?
Reluctantly, Sunak, because there is no choice here. Marina, I've got a question for you. You know what's happened in Holland recently, don't you?
Yes.
I actually don't. Oh, no.
With the far right.
I do. Sorry, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Right. If we're not careful in this country, we could be heading for something similar. The whole of Europe is up in arms about failure after failure of governments that now look the same. There is no left, there is no right. It's all dead centre stuff, and this is what could happen. And I think we should be very, very careful unless we get two political parties that used to be left or right, and then the whole thing is about balance and compromise. Unless we get that, we'll have radical change.
Well, we do have left and right.
So why is Sunak the answer? If that's your concern, why is Sunak the answer?
He's not the answer. But I've been asked to make a choice between
You've chosen him over Starmer.
Right. Well, I agree with Mike Parry. Starmer would just make things worse.
How?
OK, Chris, thank you. We're going to one more call. Hang on, Christine. Another one. Christine in Shropshire, hi.
Hi, good morning.
Where would you like to go, Christine?
Starmer. I can't believe the number of people that would still stick with Sunak after 13 years, and he's trying to divorce himself from what's happened over 13 years, but he was party with the Tory party to what's happened over the last 13 years.
Well,
and we need to start again.
Okay, starting again is, well, yeah, I mean, that's a job of work. I mean, Starmer did nose it there.